One of these women is a jockey who has ridden more than 500 winners. Number 1, what is your name, please?
My name is Diane Nelson.
Number 2.
My name is Diane Nelson.
Number 3.
My name is Diane Nelson.
Only one of these people is the real Diane Nelson, and is the only one sworn to tell the truth. Now let's meet our panel. Co-star of Mercy Roach, Ron Mazak. From head of the class, Christine Haas. Actor and raconteur, Orson Bean. And to tell the truth's very own, Kitty Carlisle. Here's the host of To Tell the Truth, Lynn Swan.
Hello, hello. Good morning. Yes? Yes, Ron. Yes, we're down. Sit. Good morning,
Jockeys and horses and...
Boy, everyone must have had their Wheaties or something this morning. They're full of power and energy.
That's right.
We're all set for another great day?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Well, then, with an absolutely, and here we go, let's get right to the first story presented by our team of challengers, all of them whom claim to be Diane Nelson. And here is her story. Please read along with me. I, Diane Nelson, am a jockey. I've ridden more than 500 winners, and I've made more than $5 million for their owners. Like all jockeys, I had a tough time keeping my weight down, but I had an even tougher time selling myself to the trainers. After all, I was a woman in a man's world, but I changed their minds when in my first year, I set a world record by winning 252 races. One day, while rounding the far turn, my mount fell, and I was trampled by another horse. My back was broken. After 3 months of pain and therapy, I was back in the saddle and winning again. Success brought me fame and fortune, and a second career as a Ford model. I've received job offers from fashion magazines and top clothing manufacturers. Now, you might say I'm a clothes horse. Signed, Diane Nelson. We'll find out more about our model jockey right after this. If you have... All right, panel, these three people all claim to be Diane Nelson, professional jockey and fashion model. Let's start the questioning with Kitty Carlisle.
Thank you. Number 1, aren't jockeys supposed to be little people?
Yes, they're supposed to be.
But you're not a little people.
No.
Doesn't matter?
It's the weight that matters.
I see. Number 2, what did you do to keep your weight down?
Well, I have a lot of nervous energy, so I don't really have to try.
Uh-huh. Number 3, what is a martingale?
A martingale?
Yeah. No? Number 2, where are the withers of a horse?
It's on the back of the horse between the neck and the back and the spinal area.
And number 1, when you first started, were you just riding for fun at home?
Mm-hmm.
Where was that?
Long Island, New York.
Oh, thank you.
Kitty, very good. Sounds like you know a little bit about horses.
Yes, I do.
Okay. Orson?
Martingale is a bird of some kind.
No.
It's not fair to ask a bird question. We should ask horse questions. Number 2, now you've finished the race, you're back in your dressing room, you're heading for the shower, and a male reporter wants to come in and interview you. What's your position, number 2?
No, thanks.
No thanks? No, it's not bad. Number 3, were you scared to get back on a horse after your terrible accident and your recuperation?
Actually, I was eager to get back on a horse
Eager?
again. Yes.
Number 1, what is a horse? Don't know, eh? That rules you out. Number 3.
Orson, very well done. The Sherlock Holmes of this panel, no doubt. Christine Haas.
Number 1, what is the weight limit?
Every horse carries a different weight. There really is no limit. They just can't be over what the horse is supposed to carry.
Okay. Number 3, what in your back did you break?
I broke 2 vertebrae at the bottom.
Number 2, what's the most famous race you've raced in, like the Kentucky Derby or the Belmont Stakes or the Preakness?
None of those yet. Those are...
What's one that you have?
I haven't raced in any of those yet.
Okay.
Christine, I'm sorry.
I couldn't explain it right. Oh, well.
That's okay.
You want to take my
It's your turn.
You can.
Yes, I'll take it. Number one.
Go ahead.
Number one, where did you win the 252 races? What track?
Rockingham Park.
And number two, where is Rockingham Park?
It's in New England.
Okay, 3 months back, after your broken back, you were back in the saddle. Did you?
Number one and number...
I'm sorry, number two. Was there any apprehension at all?
No.
None at all.
No.
Number one, what's a tack room?
A room where they keep the tack?
Very good. I just thought I'd even know this question out.
Very good. One of those trick questions. Panel, your time is up. That means it's time to cast your vote for either number one, number two, or number three. Our team of challengers will receive $500 for each incorrect vote with a guarantee of $1,000. And if the panel is fooled completely, the team will receive $3,000. So panel, if you're ready to cast your vote, we'll begin with Kitty Carlisle.
Well, unless I've outsmarted myself, which I may well have done. Number three didn't know what a martingale was, and number two said the withers were somewhere where I didn't think they were. So I voted for number one.
Process of elimination for you. Orson.
Not fair to ask bird questions. Anyway, I even though number one does not know what a horse is, and she should, I can understand maybe she just doesn't. She did know that the tack room is where you keep the tacks.
Sounds like a man who spent a lot of time at the track.
Well, I know where the withers are.
Well, I've been to the Kentucky Derby, and I love horse racing. But more than that, I modeled with Eileen Ford for a couple of years, and number two looked like one of Eileen's girls.
Okay. Number two's got the look.
For none of the above
Ron.
reasons at all, Lynn. For none of them at all. I didn't know where the martingale was either, but so I dropped that one. And they all look beautiful enough to be a Ford model.
Absolutely.
But I just went, tacks are not kept in a tack room. I don't think. I mean, that's where they keep the saddle and the bridle and everything else. Just on a hunch for both, I went with number two.
For number two. Well, our panel split between number one and number two. Number one with 2 votes, number two with 2 votes, but no one voted for number three. Okay, now it's time to find out who the real jockey model is. Will the real Diane Nelson please stand up? Here is number one. It is number one. Diane, the tack room is where you keep the tack. Right? And what else do you keep there?
Mostly any of the equipment you use in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
The saddles.
And now I think a martingale is a type of bridle.
Well, yeah, it's usually a piece of equipment they use to keep their head down or to keep the saddle forward.
Yeah, but that's not...
That was a tough one.
That was a tough one. Okay, let's find out who your imposters are. Number two, who are you and what do you do?
I'm Dina Walker. I'm president of Resorts Network International, which is an agency for vacation resorts and business resorts.
Terrific. And number three, your name and what do you do?
My name is Renee Ennis, and I'm a sales assistant at Shearson Lehman, a brokerage firm in New York.
Terrific. Terrific. Well, there were 2 incorrect votes at $500 a vote, so your team will receive $1,000, and thank you for being here with us on To Tell the Truth. We'll be right back with a lady who runs a television station in her basement right after this. Let's meet our next team of challengers.
Number one, what is your name, please?
My name is Sarah Evans.
Number two.
My name is Sarah Evans.
Number three.
My name is Sarah Evans.
Well, it's up to you, panel, to locate the real Sarah Evans, and here is her story. Please read along with me. I, Sarah Evans, own and operate my own television station out of my basement. I run old movies from a nearby UHF station in the daytime, but starting at 6 o'clock p.m., our primetime programming really begins. I feature videos of local birthday parties, family reunions, high school football games, and my favorite variety show, the Davy Crockett Hoedown. Our local late-night news features an anchorman, Charles Kincaid. He's only 9 years old, so eat your heart out, Tom Brokaw. We don't carry soap operas, sitcoms, or MTV, and sorry, no game shows. There are no commercials, no profit, and all the expenses are paid out of my Social Security check. Signed, Sarah Evans. Let's start the questioning with Ron Masak.
Okay, Sarah, thank goodness gracious, to pay for it out of your Social Security check. What does it cost you, if you don't mind me asking? Number one, what does it cost to run a station for a day?
Oh, well, it's according to what you do. I mean, if I go out and film a lot of things, well, it costs more. Or if I stay at home and do nothing, it costs nothing.
Number two, who videotapes the football games that you show?
I do.
Number three, who videotapes the birthday parties?
Sometimes I do them myself, and sometimes one of the boys do it, my son or...
Okay, now number one, getting back to that, doesn't the videotape cost money?
Yep.
And
Yep, it's a shoestring budget. Yep, you can't squeeze any more out of her, Ron. Christine.
Okay. Number two, what gave you the idea to start your own station?
Well, I got a divorce and I got a settlement, and I decided I was going to do what I wanted to do, be my own boss and have fun.
Number one, how far of a radius does your television show reach?
Well, you know, we live in a farm area, and it goes to a rural area. It's a rural television station.
Great. Okay, and number three, I love this.
Thank you, Christine. You got a lot out of that. I'm proud of you. Orson.
Number one, your viewership in this farm area is largely human, I would assume, and it's not the farm animals themselves, chickens, and they wouldn't be. No, I can tell by your eyes. Number three, excuse me, number three, is this a public access that you're on, station?
Yes.
And so how many people can you reach on if you have a really hot birthday party video? Like, how many people might see it that night?
Well, I think just about all the locals tune in. I don't think many of them are not on that
Number
station.
two, I'm trying to get at how many of these locals are there.
Well, we don't just reach the locals.
Yeah.
It spreads out. We
Oh,
go,
I mean, I might...
20 miles
If I had a saucer on my roof,
we get as many as... Yes,
I could get it. Well, I can't. I'm going to leave early. I want to get home.
Well, it depends. If you live in Ohio, you could get...
Oh, that time's up.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Ohio. That was my next question. You got to live in Ohio, I see. Number one,
moving there.
do you have a license for this? Number one?
What do you think I'd be doing it if I didn't have a license?
Number two, how late does this 9-year-old newscaster stay up to do this?
Well, he's taped earlier sometime.
Oh, you can tape the thing,
we
too.
Tape it.
Oh, you
yes,
have a lot
we
of
do
equipment.
have tapes. We spend money for tapes.
I see. And number one...
That time is up. We don't know how much money for tapes. Panel, it's time. It is more than time to vote for number one, number two, or number three. Panel, if you're ready to cast your ballots, we start with Ron Masak.
Are you aware, Lynn, that all four of us asked questions and got nothing in return?
I am absolutely aware.
We didn't even get to Davy Crockett. No.
I am anxious to hear your reasoning for your vote.
Well, my reasoning is very simple. I voted for number one for this reason. She didn't like Orson's questions at all.
Profound. Christine.
Oh, Sarah's, I just love and adore you all, but I went with number three.
Number three. Well, Orson?
Well, I voted for number one for fear of never being invited to appear on her program.
Spoken like a true artist. Kitty.
Well, I had to vote for number three because every time number one didn't tell us anything, she applauded.
Well, the votes are all in. Number one has a pair of votes. Number two didn't receive any votes. And number three, yeah, you have 2 votes right there in front of you. Okay, now let's find out who the real television tycoon is. Will the real Sarah Evans please stand up? It's number one. You're absolutely terrific. I mean, do you handle your TV station with the same kind of brass you handled this panel with?
More.
More. And everybody watches. What's that, 300-400 people?
Wouldn't you watch?
Oh. I'd be afraid not to. Let's meet your imposters. Number 2, your name and what do you do?
I'm Mim Broderick, and I'm a peace activist. I walked across the United States from California to New York with the Great Peace March.
Thank you. Number 3, your name and what do you do?
My name is Berlin. I'm a minister, and I'm an investor.
Okay. Well, there were 2 incorrect votes at $500 a vote, so your team will receive $1,000. And thank you for being here on To Tell the Truth. You were terrific. We'll be right back to play one-on-one with someone from our studio audience right after this. Time to play one-on-one with someone from our studio audience. So, Burton, who do you have for us today?
Well, and today we have Jill Marakovich from Livermore, California.
Hi.
Jill, welcome to Tell the Truth.
Thank you.
You know how this game is played?
Yes, I do.
Okay, we're going to explain it to you anyway, just to make sure. Here's your chance to play one-on-one. I want you to meet a gentleman who has 2 stories. His name is Robert Zengrando. Welcome, Robert. Now, Jill, Robert is going to tell 2 stories, only one of which is the truth. If you can spot the true story, you will win $500. So, Robert, what's your first story?
I'm a photographer of beautiful women. I photographed the Playmate of the Year for Playboy magazine.
Now, that may or may not be the truth here, Jill. So, listen to Robert's second story.
I'm a male feminist. I'm the first man to receive the Feminist of the Year award from the National Organization for Women.
Okay, panel, to help Jill win $500, you'll ask one question about each story. So let's start with Kitty and the Playboy story.
When you photograph these lovely ladies naked, do they turn you on?
Kitty! No, Miss Carlisle, it's strictly professional.
Okay.
Yes, now I'm going to ask a professional question.
Orson, please do.
When you're posing these women, is there ever, I've heard that there can be a problem with belly button lint. Is that ever a problem to you?
No, shadows I've had troubles with, but not belly button lint.
Belly button lint doesn't catch the light. No,
but you sound like you have some experience in that department. Orson, I don't know. Christine.
Oh, my goodness. How did you sniggle your way into that job?
Well, it was Gary Cole, who's director of photography for Playboy, who introduced me to Hugh Hefner. And I attended one of their parties, and they invited me to present some materials, and I did.
Okay. Ron?
What are some of the finer points you look for in a good model?
I look for poise, and I look for motion. My whole concept of photography is built on movement and motion and the ability to capture that with the proper use of shadows.
Thank you.
Okay.
They went for the obvious.
Very good question, Ron. Okay, Joe, you've heard Robert's first story. Now listen to the second story, The Feminist. Kitty.
What did you do to get this award?
I was involved as a prime activist in bringing Judy Chicago's The Dinner Party, the famous feminist artwork, to Cleveland for its Midwestern premiere.
Thank you.
Okay. Orson?
I have a theory that the women admire Alan Alda but go out with Tom Selleck. Make a question out of that and answer it.
I think it's beyond my capacity to deal with it.
Christine?
Oh, what inspired you to be a feminist?
Well, largely it was the impact of my wife.
Okay. That's good enough.
Come on, he can say more.
Well, he's finished now. Ron?
Did you know any of the other finalists?
No, I had no idea the award was coming until they called me and told me to be present at the banquet.
The other guys turned it down.
Ron, please. I'm going to sneak in a question there. Now, Jill, you've heard the cross-examination. Is Robert the Playboy photographer, or did he win the Feminist Award?
I think that he won the Feminist Award, and I think that because he said that an important quality for a photographer to recognize would be mobility, and I just thought that those Playmates just kind of laid there.
Okay. Robert, we'll find out, Jill. Robert, what's your true story?
To tell the truth, I'm the Feminist of the Year.
Congratulations, Jill. You just won $500, and thank you for playing one-on-one. That's terrific. I have to ask one quick question.
Surely.
A lot of men tease you about your position?
Oh, no, not the men I know.
Okay, thank you very much, Robert.
All right.
We'll be right back after these words.
Riddle nail.
Well, panel, thank you for playing today. We'll see you all next time on To Tell the Truth. Bye.
This is Burton Richardson speaking for To Tell the Truth, a Mark Goodson television production.